All right, ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. As you can see, I got a few pre-Christmas presents right here that I got for myself. Everybody knows me that watches my channel knows I am a tool freak. I love tools, and a lot of stuff I'll buy and I won't even use. For instance, these meters, I haven't even used them. Most of the times I'll just get it, take it out of the box, make sure everything's working, put it back in the box, and I think a lot of times I buy this stuff to see if I'm going to sell it on my store, or I use it in my video, and then somebody in the comment sections say, "Hey, big dog, I like that meter you were using. Why don't you send me a link?" And so what I'll do is I'll put it on my store, send him the link, and then charge him like $800. That way when I go to the casino, I got some gambling money, right?
Chi-Town's finest.
Okay. All right, like I said, a lot of times I'll just buy this stuff, a new trend of meters, just to see, how it's going to work out or how it looks. So these are like the last 3 or maybe even 4 years. These are like the last trend of meters. So everybody wants them small and compact. I think it was this one, the smart meter, and then they came out with the tweezer meter, and then they came out with the little pin meter. Okay. But today I'm going to talk about this Kaiweets meter. Okay. Now the only difference between this meter and these two meters, okay, is that these meters I paid for, okay, these are my meters, and this meter, this Kaiweets one, I didn't even have to pay for it. The nice people at Kaiweets was so nice, they sent me a free meter in return for a small donation of my opinion, and I'll make sure I capture it on video. So everybody that knows me and watch my channel knows that I don't do a lot of review videos, and the ones that I do, I do real reviews. I'm making sure it works. Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. I'm gonna find something wrong with it. All right, so believe that. Okay. So Kaiweets, if y'all don't like my review after I do this meter, then don't be trying to sue me and get y'all meter back, because y'all not getting it back, because you're not gonna find me, because I'm moving next week. All right, just letting you know. Okay, so let's see what we got in the box. All right, now I did open this up already just to make sure everything was in here, but I didn't put the batteries in it or anything or use it. So as we can see, we got a nice case. That's pretty nice, okay? And we have a nice user's manual, okay? Now, one thing I did notice about the user manual for the Kaiweets KM601 is that there's absolutely no English, okay? I've been through this, I don't know how many times, and I couldn't find any instructions in English. And see, this obviously is all the languages. And as you can see, I don't see English at all. So Kaiweets, I would suggest, if you're going to be selling this meter to fellow technicians in the United States, it was an English manual, okay? But they do have, it tells you, I believe, on here, in here somewhere on the box, there is a barcode, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen it somewhere. There is a barcode that you can go to, or just go on YouTube and go to Kaiweets Tools. I think it's the name of the channel. Let's open this nice pouch up. See what we get. Voila. Okay. We got our meter here on this side. Okay, and then we've got some pretty decent leads. Okay, for a change. And this obviously is a lead for our temperature, check temperature, thermometer. That's obviously built into the meter. And then we have 6 batteries. Alright. Now, that seems kind of weird why we use 6 batteries. I think it only uses 3. We'll double check that. Okay. Alright, and this is our meter. Okay, so this is a smart meter. Okay, so these start coming out a while ago because basically what it can do is it can automatically detect between voltage or resistance. Okay, if you have the meter on auto. For instance, here is a smart meter here, okay, and I turn it on and I actually leave it in auto, right? I can automatically check voltage and resistance, and it's going to automatically detect it, switch over, and detect if you're checking voltage or resistance, DC voltage or AC voltage, obviously. But which is good because usually as a technician, as far as working on televisions, those are like the main things that I'm going to use is for troubleshooting the TV is going to be checking voltages, DC volts, and checking the resistances, you know, for a short or an open, right? So that was pretty clever, okay, how they started that. But this one is a little bigger, and this Kaiweets obviously has spots, plugs where you can plug in your own leads, okay? All right, some plugs for your own leads, okay? Not with these because evidently after a while, these kind of leads are actually gonna start breaking off inside if you use this a lot, and you can't change it, right? Unless you open this up and go in there and fix it, you know. But so I want to take the back off here. Obviously, the batteries are in the back, so I didn't, you know, since I didn't get no damn instructions, right? Okay, so let's take this back cover off and put the batteries in. But you know one thing I like about this meter? It feels real, like heavy, like it's got a little weight to it. It feels nice in your hand. It feels durable. You know what I'm saying? So, and obviously, another thing I like about this meter also is these are real buttons, okay? Unlike this one here, where you have to, you know, keep pressing on it till you turn it on, and then sometimes it won't connect. And then you might hit the wrong button by accident, but just picking it up because your hand's gonna swipe across, you know, swipe across the buttons. So yeah, so this is another thing I like about it besides using your own leads at the bottom, right? And the buttons and the weight, okay? Sturdy. Alright, so obviously we got a flashlight button here, APO, I'm sorry, this is the power, it's flashlight, and this is, I forget, APO button right here. So let's see, let's put the batteries in and see what this baby looks like, right? So we want to pull this nice protective backing. It's kind of like hard plastic. Okay. And obviously we have a screw here, Phillips. Okay. So this pops out. And it's like 3 AAA batteries, which they do give you 6. So that seems kind of weird, because why would a company usually they don't give you no batteries, and they give you batteries and extra batteries? Nah, you know, I haven't been getting any death threats lately, but I need to check this out. This might be a bomb or something, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Which sounds reasonable, right? Sounds legit. Uh-oh, I heard something. Oh, wow, isn't she pretty? Oh, wow, okay. All right, and then put our screw back in, okay. And obviously we put the back and we turn this off. Hold it, comes off. And then we're going to slide these buttons in first. Slide the top part in first. Now I know this plastic protective covering they use on the back. It is really nice. It's like kind of like a hard plastic, unlike this one over here. Pull that back. See how slow it bends back. So obviously, if you keep taking it out and change the batteries, or whatever, after a while, it's probably going to be kind of flimsy and, you know. But this one actually slipped right on like a glove, you know. It just kind of like sucked it up when I was putting it back on. So this plastic is obviously much better and probably much more durable. Okay, so let's turn it on. All right. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Hold that. Got a light. And we got some lights, more lights at the bottom. Okay. So it's telling me to put my meter right here. Let me see if I can change. Let me see. Select. It's in auto now. Take it out of auto, obviously. Hit the auto function button there, right? Okay, now you see I'm in volts, and you see these two lights here were blinking. It's AC, DC, okay. AC, DC, okay, that's cool. All right. This button where it says SEL select, change from AC to DC. This button here in the middle, I did it with change the modes. Here we go, ohms, and then you can see I got the two lights for my two leads, which I should be using, okay. And so if I go to current, let's see if I go all the way to current. Now these two LEDs are blinking for these leads right here, this one and this one. All right, so that's kind of nice. All right, so let's see how the baby works. I'll give you a little up close and personal how that looks. All right, flashlight. It's okay, pretty bright. Okay. This APO is the automatic shut-off feature. Okay, so if it's on, I think it's going to shut off after a few minutes or so. I'm not sure. I have to go through the directions. I keep forgetting how to get no directions, okay? But I'll figure it out. I'll just watch some videos. Like I said, Kaiweets tools, okay, on YouTube. Now, another thing I don't like is the fact that I can't stand it up, okay? Right there's no support on the back of it, okay? So it's cool. No biggie right there. They'll probably eventually come out with a stand, a cover with a stand on it. Okay, so it's always laying down. So I'm going to check I want to check continuity or diode. So let me see. It's in auto now. Okay. So I'm going to put positive here, okay. Black leaves where it says common. And let me see if I can get a reading. Okay, I did hear a relay click. Okay, actually so far, I'm really digging this meter. Like I said, I like the buttons. Okay, and let me just give you a close-up so you can see how pretty that screen is. Also, I love the display. Right, I'm gonna hit select right here, and it's gonna switch through diode, capacitance. If you look at the meter right there, millivolts, frequency, hertz. Okay. And it looks like it also has the duty cycle. All right, so that's good for checking voltages on signals on switch mode power supplies, or not signals, but the actual frequency, right? All right, that is for the temperature probe, evidently. And notice when I switch it again, and look at the bottom, it tells you which plugs to plug your lead into. It lights up. That's evidently, that's milliamps or amps. Okay, and we hit this button again, we're back on auto. Okay, and how you can tell it's an auto is because the actual gauge, whatever you want to call it, the selector goes back and forth, so it's an auto. All right, so to keep this fair, okay, like I said, the only downfall is I hate it doesn't have some type of stand. Even if it's a little one, you know, it can hold up like this, you know, even though the leads are on the bottom, but they can still make a stand that's long enough where it could sit up like this. But the actual glare on the screen is not that bad at all. It might look a little bad on camera because it's got a light up here and a light behind me. Okay, otherwise it's pretty dark down here. So what I'm gonna do, this meter's probably about, I don't know, 50 bucks. Okay, so for 50 bucks, so far, I like it. Okay, and for the simple reason I like it, once again, is because it's durable. It also has a very nice case to it, and it's small, which means I can keep it in my toolbox. Okay, this is the one I normally carry right here. This is the ANEG meter, right? Which is nice, small, and very accurate and very fast. Okay, so it's smaller than a big bulky meter, such as, well, I don't have one now, but you know what I mean, the big bulky. See how this is in my hand? And look, if I actually compare the size of this Kaiweets, it's actually the same size as my cell phone. Look at that. Perfectly, right? Of course, it's a little thicker, right? Because it's a multimeter. Duh, right? But anyway, that is cool. So, in order to keep this fair, I'm going to pin it up against this $500 Keysight Agilent multimeter. Please, no! Okay, the first thing I noticed, okay, with all the lights on, is that you can barely see the Keysight meter's display. Okay, and the light, the orange light is on. All right. Okay, now with this one, I can see this very good. So let's just say I'm doing the video and I need to show voltage or a measurement, then obviously this one's gonna look better unless I turn down all the lights, okay? Then I can see it a little better, right? And as you can see, the backlight is lit up orange, okay? So so Kaiweets has got one already on this Keysight. Now they do make a version of this meter with a LED or LCD display like this. Okay, but I've heard they have some problems with the display, so I don't know anything about that. That's why I didn't get that particular meter at the time, which I actually should have gotten, okay, because it was about the same price, or just about, I think this one has a few more features. That's why I ended up getting this one. All right, and as you can see, the backlight just went out, okay, and I can see it, okay. If I hold it at a certain angle toward the light, I can see the display, right? But like this, it's gonna be kind of hard for somebody on the other end of my camera to see what it looks like. Okay, so let's go to the fuse. Okay, now that's holding pretty steady. Okay, now let's go to resistance. All right, I'm just gonna go to resistance. I'm gonna do it manually. That's voltage. Resistance, it's on ohms. Okay. Should be getting around 0 ohms. It's probably gonna say 1.1 or something like that. Zero ohms. Excellent, excellent. Okay. 0 ohms. Once again, continuity. Manually. Okay, you see it says manual right here in the corner, right? Very good, very good. Okay, our next one is diode measurement. Okay, so let's find a diode somewhere. Right there, big fat diode, okay? So it's in diode scale. Should be getting a reading about 0.5 volts going this way. Let's see. .469. Okay. And reverse bias it. It's my positive on the cathode or anode or whatever. Okay, that should be infinite, right? Now let's try my Agilent meter. Now first of all, let's put this on auto. Now see if I hold, okay, that's another feature. I don't have to keep hitting it until it goes all the way around and then switches to auto. I can just hold this red button, and if I hold it for a second or two, it automatically switches to auto. But let's see how it does with the diode. .2 volts. Okay, let's go this way. Let's see. 3 DC volts. We have to actually go to the diode scale. And also, this switch, this button, is pretty fast. Okay, it's not like you have to push it and then wait till it gets there to push it again. I can actually go through this pretty fast. Should be infinite. All right, excellent. Next thing, capacitance. All right. So let's find. As a matter of fact, let's see. I can probably find a capacitor right here on the board. Let's see how it does in circuit, right? Okay, here's one. This one is 33 microfarads at 250 volts. This capacitor right here, okay? So let's see if it's going to read it in the circuit. If it's not anything else in the circuit that's going to obstruct the reading, it should read it. This is not a real ESR meter, but sometimes it will get a reading. .34 microfarads. Okay. And what did I say it was? 33 microfarads. Can you see that? Probably not. 33 microfarads, that capacitor right there. So that's pretty good. That's a little more closer at 33. But even it seemed like it was even a little slower. All right? Exactly. A little slower. Let's try that again, okay? .33 microfarads. Okay, now let's try it with this one, the Kaiweets one more time. That was much faster. Okay? Excellent. So far, so good. All right? So let's see here. We have some millivolts. Now, matter of fact, I'm going to go to millivolts and see if we can actually get some voltage left of this capacitor at millivolts. Let's see. Same capacitor. Okay. As you can see, is it going down? Okay, we got 18 millivolts on there. And let's check out this one. Check out the Agilent. We'll put that in millivolts. DC. Okay, there's an indicator right here. It says DC, but this one actually tells you right next to the display whether it's DC or AC that you're testing. All right, and it's in millivolts. Okay, let me see how this is going to do. Millivolts. All right, DC. Now that was actually faster as far as testing the volts. That says 19 millivolts. And that's just the residual voltage left from that capacitor. Range. Okay, I can actually move the decimal if I hit the range button. Okay, now that is very crucial when you're trying to see if a power supply board is fluctuating at its output. All right, so but the only thing is you have to have a single digit in front, so it can't be higher than, I guess, 9 volts. Oh, there we go. Select. All right, so as you can see, it went from AC. If I hit select again, it goes to DC. All right, so since I'm getting on AC, let's check voltage here. I'm gonna pull these off so I can get this in my took a second, but we're at 125 volts, and it also gives us our frequency at 60 hertz. Okay, 125 volts AC. AC, I'm sorry, AC. Now that says 126 volts. Okay, and will it give us our frequency? It usually does. Just give them the temperature on top. Oh, I think I know how to change that. Nope. Okay, here we go. If I change it to hertz, I can actually get the 126 volts AC at 60 hertz. 59.996. 60 hertz, right? Good enough. So far, so good. Now we want to get to resistance. And let's check a couple of resistors, if I can find one. Let's see here. Oh, I got a board right in front of me. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can find a resistor. Yeah. Well, let's find that big startup resistor if this uses one. Reading a short. That can't be right. Let's see. Okay. Maybe there's a short on this board. I believe, oh, you know what? There is a short on this board. Let's try another reset. Let's go to the secondary side. 1001, which is 100 and one more zero. That should be 1K. Am I correct? I'm on the right one. Let's make sure. All right, we're at 0.999K. Okay. And I'll go to my Agilent. I should be at so far so good. All right. Now, you know what? Let's go to the diode function. I'm sorry, the diode. But let's go to the capacitor function. And if you look in the manual, the ranges on all these different modes are in the manual. That is in English. That's the only part that I saw that was in English. Okay. I'm not too good at these smaller value capacitor measurement as far as the decimals and stuff like that. But let me see what this one says. All right. Sometimes I forget about these different readings. But this one says, damn thing. Okay, 561 and 2 kilovolts, 561. So I believe that's 56 nano. Let's see, or pico, or one of them. It should say 0.056. There we go. So that would be 560 picofarads, I would assume, 561. So that is pretty good. All right, pretty good. Okay, and this one is Agilent. Let's see how good I'm going to get on this one. This one's reading a little higher. It's at 6.3. Okay, don't know what to say about that one, but this one obviously is a little more accurate in the capacitance. So that is amazing for 1/10 of the price of this meter right here, right? Okay, so quite obviously this meter might have some more functions, okay, because it all depends on what kind of field or niche you are. I don't even know where I got this from. And right, in your electronics field that you're probably going to use those extra features on that Agilent meter. So, but as far as basic electronics troubleshooting, TV repair, hey, what can I say, right? Now, what else can we do? Aha. Did we check voltage? Did we check voltage? I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. One more thing I forgot to check is the NCV. That is the remote voltage checker, okay? And as you can see here is the NCV antenna or sensor right here on this side. And let's see. Okay, and you see there's a green light at the top. That is obviously the cold or neutral side. And then if I go on this side, that's the hot side. The light is red. High. It also says it on the display. See, L for low. Low side, hot side. Okay, another thing I wanted to check is the auto function, okay? Now there's a meter in there, I'm sorry, there's a relay inside that keeps clicking when I move these meters, but it's supposed to be an auto. When I move it, it goes to auto. I don't know if that makes any difference or not, but I want to make sure it's an auto before I check my voltage. Now auto, like I said, I noticed when I had this too close to my power supply, it was, the meter was clicking. So I don't know if that had anything to do, I'm sorry. The relay inside of the meter was clicking. So let me get this as far away as possible. Okay. So now it's an auto. And like I said, auto usually switches between resistance. It can detect resistance and voltage. Alright. If you want to, check capacitance or diode or current, obviously you're going to have to select it manually. Okay, but let's say for instance we're checking the same resistor at 1001. It should be 1,000 ohms or 1 kilo ohms. Okay, it's in auto. All right, close enough. 0.999. Well, yep, 1 kilo ohm. And then I'll let it go. It's in auto, and I'm going to go to my voltage here. As you can see on the screen, I have 12 volts. All right, 12.6 volts. Okay, put black on black. Well, sorry, in this case, blue on black. I don't have any black leads for my power supply. Not these kind anyway. And I'm going to clip it. There we go, 12.68. Okay, as you can see. So that's good. Now let's see how fast it's going to change. Let's bring it up to 31 volts. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Nine point 9.0, 8.87. Just doing a fine adjustment. So that's pretty good. Okay. Now, before we even get to, I'm not going to do the temperature. Everybody knows that, I don't even use temperature. A lot of technicians are not going to use the actual temperature probe or the temperature probe, because a lot of times we'll need to check it more accurately. We have to always use a thermal camera. But I will hook it up for you just so I can touch it and you can see how high my temperature gets when I haven't had a drink in 6 hours. Okay, so let's see. All right, we should be back on auto. Okay, so let's check current. Okay, and I'm going to actually bring it to 9 volts. Want to check current. Okay, shove my leads together and it will give me the current reading. Okay, which is 0.6 amps or 600 milliamps, right? Okay, and I'm going to switch my meter. Okay, so we're at 6 amps, okay, 600 milliamps, right? Once I let it go, she'll give me the voltage at 9 volts, okay? So I'm gonna, first of all, select if you're checking current, you're obviously gonna have to move your lead, okay, to the current position. And so first I'll do this. It should show me which leads. Okay, milliamps, all right? Okay, so let's see if I can get a 600 milliamp reading on that voltage, right? Okay, and this should tell me. Okay, let's do this again. Millivolts. Okay, so I'll take this off. Show me the two indicators right here. So common is in the right spot, and I'm going to have to switch this one over to milliamp scale. Okay. All right. So it should be at about 600 milliamps if I'm correct, right? Exactly. 600 milliamps. And let's see if I turn this up. I'm going to turn up the fine adjustment, okay? It does say milliamps right there, okay? And if I adjust it, there we go. Excellent. Let's take it up a notch. All right, milliamps. I'm not going to go too high. I'm pretty sure they use a fuse before that. We're at 0. 48 milliamps. So it gives you the correct decimal placement, which is nice. The decimal automatically changes once I get past 99 to 100, and it's still reading the milliamp scale. So far, it's holding its own weight. All right, so you know, as the meter is obviously far more sophisticated, but it's in a few features that are even a few measurements that were even seems like they were even better than the Agilent meter as far as accuracy. Right? Remember that capacitor we had that was 560 picofarads, and as far as speed on some measurements. Okay, I forgot what measurement that was, but this is pretty fast. But this is the one main test that I want to check, and this test is always going to be the min max mode. All right, so if you look here at my, I'm going to go ahead and put my leads back for voltage. All right. Okay, I'm going to go to voltage. We're in DC volts. Okay, and you see our indicators did light up. That's another safety feature, letting you know which plugs to plug in your leads for whatever mode you have the meter selected to. Correct? Yeah, I'm just intrigued with this display, man. I mean, this is how you. I mean, Kaiweets was pretty smart at making a display like this because, first of all, any new age technician are not gonna want no big old looking, display, right? You want something that when you turn it on, it looks so pretty, and make you want to go up on a light pole and check the transformer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how makes you want to use it, right? That's the best thing, this is like the best looking meter that I've actually seen, especially one that's this size and for this price. All right, so what I'm going to check, yes, min max mode. So we have our meter in DC volts, okay, and as you can see, I'm going to turn my power supply all the way down. It's at 9 volts. I'm going to turn it down to 0 volts. All right, okay, and let's see how this is going to work. If I hit min max, hit it again, it should say minimum, max, minimum. Okay, all right, so we'll put it in max. All right, so matter of fact, let's do it this way. Let's just go. Okay, let's go back around. That's the only thing I don't like about it is that you can't go backwards. I don't think so. Let me see. At the bottom of the button. Yeah, this goes in the same direction. I wish you can make the needle go backwards back that way in case you skip something. But obviously you can keep going around or just have to hold the auto function button and it goes back to auto. And I'm gonna hit it again. Okay. We're in DC volts. Okay. If I want to select the AC, right? True RMS, AC, DC volts. All right. And I'm just going to turn this up to about 0 volts. I'm going to hook up meters of DC volts. My leads are in the correct plugs. Okay, I'm going to hit min max. Okay, now I'm going to quickly turn my voltage all the way up. I think the maximum is 30 volts, and all the way back down and see if it's going to catch it. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute, hold on. Is it okay? Is it 1, 2, 3 go or 1, 2? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. It got stuck somewhere. Okay. All right. Okay, let's try that again. Let's do it a little bit slower. All right. So let's get out of that. Let's go back. Okay, let's get out of that again. DC volts. Okay. Now let's make sure that this is working now. Let's see. Want to rise up. Okay. So let me, instead of going all the way to the end, let me see. Well, you know, let's try this here. What if I turn this one up? Okay, yeah, let's try that way. Instead of using the coarse one, let's do the fine tuning knob, and let's see what we're gonna catch. Okay. So I'm gonna hit max. Now this mode is actually good when you're checking LEDs strips or the LED plug on the power supply board for voltage, to see if the voltage is even coming up and see how high it gets before it actually shuts off. Okay, because a lot of times if you put your meter on it without hitting the max mode, you really can't read it. You're just gonna see like it's gonna be like too late or whatever. But anyway, so I'm in max mode. As you can see, I'm at 0 volts DC, and let's hit the fine button and turn that one back down. It caught it. All right. Okay. Let's try that again. 2.4 volts. All right. Okay. Actually, it did go back the other way. Okay. All right. Instead of going to auto first, it went back the other way. All right. So let me try. I'm going to just turn my. I'm going to put it in max again. Okay. And I'm just going to turn my chorus knob not all the way up this time, but I'm going to turn it up halfway and come back down. Okay. 1, 2, 3. For some reason, they can't catch it on the chorus knob. You know what? Let's try my Agilent meter. Okay. Oh, let's make sure that's working. At 2 volts, 2 volts. Okay. Now I want to go to min-max. All right. I'm going to hit the max button. Okay, it's in max. Gets a little beep, let you know it's in max mode. And I'm gonna go all the way up and back down. It actually caught it. Right? 21 volts. All right, caught 21 volts. And let me see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try this again. All I gotta do here is just switch it back and it'll clear. Okay. So we're working. We're 1.71. This time I'm going to go all the way up this time. I'm going to put it in max. Okay, put it in max. All right. Of course, if you hit it again, it's going to go to the minimum. And best if you're just checking just the opposite. Maybe you're getting the voltage that's going low, too low, and it's cutting something off or something like that. You want to, okay, that's the minimum. But maximum is probably the one that's going to be used the most besides the minimum. All right, so I'm going to go all the way to the end, which is about 30 volts, and come back. And let's see if it's going to catch it. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Caught it at 24 volts. So it's pretty good. All right, so it didn't, catch it at 30. But obviously, that Kaiweets meter is not fast enough to catch a fast voltage gain. Right, and then drop back down. All right, so still, I'm not going to knock the Kaiweets meter for that little simple stuff, right? Big deal, okay? All right, so now the ultimate test of time, frequency, okay? So let's see here. Go to frequency. Go to hertz. And I did, it says percentage, so I always say that is duty cycle. And for those who don't know what duty cycle is, let me just show you right fast. So let's just say we have a square wave. And the square wave is 100 kilohertz. Okay, that means it's doing that. It's going from here, it's going up, back down, and then back up. So that is considered one cycle. Okay, so basically, sorry about that. With 100 kilohertz, if I do my math correctly, your voltage is going, let's say the voltage is, let's say here, peak to peak, let's just say this is 5 volts, okay? 5 volts, and this will probably be a negative 5 volts. That's pretty cool for writing sideways, right? Okay, so this is one cycle right here, from here to here, right? So we'll just forget this part. Or is it? I'm sorry, maybe it is. But anyway, so 100 kilohertz, I mean, this is going up to 5 volts, stopping, going back down, okay, to 5 volts, it's cutting off, and it's doing this 100,000 times per second, right? Just like 60 hertz is in your AC voltage. That's one cycle, right? That's one cycle. 60 hertz. Damn, I can ride sideways. I didn't even know that. Okay. Doing that 60 times per second. It's going up, back down, up, back down. Okay. That's one cycle. Now, as you can see, it looks like the voltage is on and off at the same amount of time. We're going to say, well, let's just say this whole thing is 100 milliseconds. 100 milliseconds, okay? And it goes from here to here, all right? And it is on 50% of the time, right? It's on 50%. That's about even. Off 50%. Up, it's even. But let's just say we got a problem and the power supply needs to work harder, and boom. Same. So this is at a 50% duty cycle. Now this is the same 100 megahertz, 100 kilohertz signal at 5 volts peak to peak. Same thing as that one. But obviously, that same cycle is staying on longer. So this is probably staying on 90% or 90 milliseconds, right? 90 milliseconds, right? And this is only staying on 10 milliseconds. Okay? So that means that has a 90% duty cycle. Okay? Enough on the drawing board classes, all right? So that's what I want to see, and I want to see just how fast it can go up, how fast the duty cycle it can read, if I can actually use my generator and change that. All right, so let's check it out. Okay, now for the ultimate test of time, we're going to test out the frequency. So we got my waveform generator hooked up at approximately 8 kilohertz. Okay, that's what that means. I know it looks confusing, but that is 8 kilohertz, which is frequency, 6-volt amplitude, and duty cycles at about 50%. So it's pretty much all, and we have an arbitrary waveform, as you can see on my oscilloscope. All right, and see here. So as you can see, you got about 6 volts peak to peak and 8 kilohertz. And as you can see on our, I got both of the meters hooked up. I've got 8 kilohertz approximately. This one is 7 point. I don't know why that was fluctuating. Maybe the leads are loose. Hold on. Okay, evidently the leads are loose. Okay. No biggie. When it is steady at approximately 8 kilohertz on both of them. Now, let's see how fast I can actually change that. So I'm actually going to change my generator to, let's say, I want to push it up to 7 kilohertz. All right, we'll push it down to 7 kilohertz. I'm going to go all the way down to 1 kilohertz. try that again because of the daggone backlight. Okay, let's push it back up to 5. Okay. Alright, it's pretty fast. Both of them are about the same. Okay. Now I'm going to change my waveform and see if the duty cycle actually changes. Let's see here. Come on. Here we go. So you see the duty cycle is changing. And that's approximately just how fast that okay, we got another arbitrary waveform. As you can see, the duty cycle is at 9%, so that means it's actually on. Come on. See, it's actually on only 9% of the time. The rest of the time it is off before it gets to the next cycle, right? Okay. And that's how our power supplies are able to produce more efficient, better efficiency, because instead of increasing the actual current, right, or the frequency, they just increase the duty cycle. It means it stays on more per cycle, right? Okay, so now that's cool. So that's enough on that. So we know the frequency is working just fine. And as you can see, this one is on 95% of the time. As you can see at the waveform, I can bring it up some. Okay. Come on. All right. Between here and here, it is actually on 95% of the time, but we are still at 8 kilohertz, right? Now, I don't know what happened here. Let me see. Okay. Still, I got all this stuff hooked up with these leads, so it's probably shaking the table. But when I try to do the duty cycle on this one, on this $600 Agilent meter, right? This is the U1282A Keysight meter. For some reason, I can't find it. I said I'll go to AC volts, and I should be able to hold this button right, or yeah, if I think I hold it, I can get the megahertz here, right? The 9 megahertz. Is that right? Yeah, 9 megahertz. Come on. There we go. Okay. I can get the 9 megahertz here, but I can't find the duty cycle. I thought I had it up here at one point in time, but for some reason, try it again. That's dB. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry. Okay, back to 9 kilohertz. Was it this one? Okay, maybe this is it. Okay, that one says 89%. Okay, this says 95%. Okay, so, but the thing is, I mean, in order for me to find out what the duty cycle is, you know, they make it harder than Donald Trump trying to run for governor of New Mexico, right? So, yeah, too many buttons still had to go through. But anyway, that's near or there. So, obviously, this meter right here is the Kaiweets is a little bit more user friendly. So another thing I want to check is the frequency range. All right, how high can it go up? So let me just change this. Okay, so as you can see, we are at 10 kilohertz. All right, kilohertz, not megahertz. Okay, 11. Okay, it's pretty good. 12, 13, 14. Let's go to megahertz and see what we get here. All right, we're at 1 megahertz, okay. And believe it or not, oh, wait a minute. Okay, we're at 120 kilohertz on both meters, okay. All right, as you can see, that's 120 kilohertz, and this is always a decimal below, seems like 119 kilohertz. And then look on my meter, on my oscilloscope, the frequency is getting higher. Well, let me go over. It looks like we got lost somewhere at some point in time. Okay, let's go up to 130 kilohertz, 150 kilohertz, 160. Let's go to 200. 200 kilohertz, okay. $300 kilohertz. All right, let's go over to megahertz. I'm going to go to all right. As you can see, look at this. The Keysight obviously cannot read over a megahertz. This one is still is reading 1.3 megahertz, and that's what it says on my generator. Maybe I go to range. Let me see if I have anything to do with it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm so sorry. Megahertz. I'm gonna go to range on this one. Okay, I am at 1.6 megahertz. Okay, on my yep, 1.6 megahertz. Okay, all right, and this one is saying, well, let me if I set the range. Let me see if that has anything to do with it. Nope. All right, so my fault. The Kaiweets meter has a maximum reading of 1 megahertz. Anything higher than that, 1.3, yeah, 1.4 megahertz. Peak voltage is about 5 volts. It says 1.4, and I'm at 1.4. Yep, 1.4. So that's a little more accurate. It's jumping down back and forth. Let me see if I can get a better. Let's go to 1.43. Yeah, see, once I get any higher than that, that 1 megahertz, this meter is not going any higher. Let's turn this down. I'm going to try 2 megahertz and see. Okay, that's 1,000 kilohertz. But I'm gonna go over to my decimal over, and I'm gonna go to 2 megahertz, 1.9, yeah. So the limit on this Kaiweets is 1 megahertz, but that's fairly enough. Only thing you'll be reading as far as anything bigger than 1 megahertz, maybe like a oscillator frequency on the clock signals are usually about 20 to 25 megahertz, or maybe more. So obviously this one will come in much better. Let's check the limit on that Keysight. Let's see, and 22. Will it go any higher than that? Let's go to 25. Yeah, 25. Okay. Other than that, okay, I wouldn't expect this meter to perform and better in every aspect than this Agilent. This Keysight meter, I wouldn't expect the Kaiweets meter to outperform it, but it's staying in its lane. It's hanging in there, right? So another thing I really don't like about this meter, there's only one complaint, and that is the fact that we do not have a stand on the back to stand it up. See, I had to lean it against my other meter just so you guys can see it, right? And the same thing if I want to use this in the video, I'm going to have to prop it up against something. So, you know, maybe of the next version of this meter, they actually put the leads on the side, maybe the connections for your leads on the side, and build a small stand in the back, or just make a cover. Since this comes off, just make a cover that you can purchase separately with the stand on it. Okay, so my thoughts and opinions, of course. Would I recommend this meter for any technician? Obviously, yes, I would. And even to add to that, I will actually say, and I usually don't praise any type of equipment, but I will actually say that Kaiweets actually put the nail in the coffin with this meter for $50 for a beginner. For a beginner in electronics. There's no reason in the world why any student, right, even in a classroom, student, electronic school or college or whatever, any hobbyist or anything, would not have this meter, okay? Even for me, because number one, the display is beautiful, brilliant, okay? It barely has any glare. I can look at it from all sides and I can pretty much see it. Unlike the other smart meter I showed you, where you have to be looking at like this, or of course even just a regular LED, what we want to call it, LED lit display. I'm gonna call this monochrome, right? A monochrome LED display. Let's light it up. And it's durable. It's got all the functions that you need, especially for a beginner or even in the field. If you just want to, if you like, maybe you work in the field also. Like I said, portable, small, easy to use, easy to read, and also has, I forget the most important thing, some precautionary features, right? I'm not gonna say safe, but precautionary. If you switch, for instance, if I take my leads out or whatever, if I switch it to, it's letting me know to put my negative lead in the milliamp section, all right? Because I'm in milliamps. I'm sorry, you can't see that, right? And if I want to switch it to put my black lead in that one right there, right? Okay. All right, guys. So that's about it. That wraps it up for the Kaiweets KM601. There should be a link at the bottom in the description where you can get a small discount if you order it from my link, and I do get a small credit from that. So just keep that in mind if you're interested. Really appreciate it. And you guys make sure that you do subscribe and check out you should do subscribe and make sure that you hit the notification button, okay, when you subscribe, because I will be pushing out more videos with more TV repairs, fortunately, right? Okay. Well, until then, guys, I will see you in the next one. Big dog.